Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either May 9th or 10th, 2023, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? My video this week's just a little bit late, but I did still do it for you. Even though it's not a great week for comic books, I have a lot of comic books that I want to tell you about. So I'm going to try to move through all of this as quickly as possible. So let's kick off this video like we kick off most videos by taking a look back at my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was World Tree, issue number 1. The question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile book to be my just one book pick of the week? The answer is absolutely it was. I told you when I picked it that I'd already read it, so I already knew it was worthy and worthwhile, and that opinion has not changed. I highly recommend World Tree to anybody who enjoys comic books, especially if you can handle a little bit of like creepy, dark, disturbing stuff. Let me know down in the comments if you read World Tree what you thought. Some kind of fun facts that I'm going to add after I talked a lot about the misprints of World Tree and whether or not those were going to be legitimized by certain entities. I will let you know James Tynion IV is indeed signing them when they are put in front of him. So if you have an error copy and you want to have them signed for whatever reason, James Tynion IV will sign those, and in addition, CGC will grade them. So they're basically treating these error copies that were supposed to be destroyed just like any other comic book, which kind of bugs me, but so it goes. That's just the way it is. I thought I'd share that information with all of you. All right, let's go ahead and move forward now by taking a look at the books that are coming out this upcoming week. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of them, so I'm going to comment on them very little. The first one I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Spirit World, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from DC. Here's the description. From the pages of Lazarus Planet, Dark Fate, a new Chinese hero emerges who's able to travel to and from the spirit world, the realm of the dead and that of the living. Their name is Xanth, and their superpower is being able to burn items folded from Joss paper and immediately turn them into real objects, based on the East Asian practice of burning Joss paper at graveyards in order to send resources to ancestors in the spirit world. Except Xanth can retrieve those items in the world of the living. Their weapon of choice is a large broadsword, because who doesn't love a big sword when you can choose to use a big sword? Xanth is a master of the dark arts who's here to give Constantine a run for his money, literally. When Constantine shows up saying Xanth scammed him into buying something, he finds them and Batgirl Cascane fighting an abnormal influx of Jiangshi, Chinese hopping vampires, and joins in to help. But when a portal opens up that drags Batgirl into the spirit world, it's up to Xanth and Constantine to travel to the land of the spirits to rescue her. Who knows what other spirits we'll find in the spirit world, like that skateboarding boy wearing hanfu and some headphones and a gaping hole in his chest. In typical DC fashion, that description is way too long. All I will say is that it sounds not very interesting to me, but it's new. I wanted you to know about it. The next book I want to mention to you is Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country, The Glass House, issue number 2 of a 6-issue limited series from DC Black Label. Here's the description. The Corinthian and Dream have a deal. The toothy-eyed Nightmare can continue walking the waking world, in search of answers about the Smiling Man, but he's bound to the will of Madison Flynn, who refuses to let him hurt or kill anyone she finds undeserving. But as the Corinthian finds himself drawn into the labyrinthian demon club and the King of Pain, he's about to get a taste of just how tight his leash really is. All right, I mentioned before, Sandman was never something I was majorly into. James Tynion IV's run on this Sandman Universe Nightmare Country series brought me to the Sandman. I find it really interesting. I find it really creative and really engaging, and I want to read more of it. That is on my honorable mention list because I am buying it this week. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book called Quicksand, issue number 1 of a 5-issue limited series from Scout Comics. Here's the description. After a mysterious hole opens in the Egyptian desert, horrific creatures climb out and wreak havoc on a nearby city. They retreat as quickly as they arrive, leaving the planet in shock by this unfathomable event. A team of elite specialists from around the globe called Canary One are sent after the monsters to discover more about them. But when the crew never returns, the world must prepare for the possibility of another wave of attacks. This is something that we've all seen before, pretty typical stuff. If you like monsters stuff, kind of in the vein of Alien, kind of sci-fi, monster-y type stuff, then maybe this book would be for you. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Keepers of the Cosmos, issue number 1 of a 3-issue limited series from Scout Comics. Here's the description. Lemon Drop, a cuddly space teddy bear with the mouth of a sailor, left the Keepers of the Cosmos about this time last year. Now he done went and got arrested by an alien dictator overseeing a fascist state in a galaxy far, 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 far away. Nightbrand, Varara, and the rest of the Keepers are torn on whether or not to help their old friend out after he ended up swindling millions of credits out of the team's joint bank account. Rick and Morty meets Invincible in this raucous road trip across the cosmos. All right, well that sounds pretty stupid, but it could be stupid fun. And I'm a fan of fun, so I pointed out to all of you this week. The next book I want to mention is Green Lantern, issue number 1 from DC. Here's the description. Spinning out of the events of Dark Crisis, the Guardians of Oa at the heart of the Green Lantern Corps have quarantined Sector 2814, home of the planet Earth, and its champion along with it. A heartbreaking defeat has sent Hal reeling, returning home to rediscover his roots and find the man responsible for ruining his life, Sinestro. From the visionary team of Jeremy Adams and Zermanico, who brought you the epic Flashpoint Beyond, comes a tale of redemption, loss, and finding out that maybe, just maybe, you can go home again. At least if you're willing to hotwire a power ring to do it. Also featuring part 1 of John Stewart, War Journal, from writer Philip Kennedy Johnson and artist Montos. I am a big Green Lantern fan. I like the Green Lantern Corps. I like the whole idea. I find it extremely entertaining. I've been very, very excited about a Green Lantern book coming out that is worth reading. I am not so sure this is that book, but I'm a fan of the Green Lantern. It's something new from DC. I had to let you know about it. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Count Dante, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from Scout Comics. Here's the description. Sidney Brown relives his years fighting alongside Count Dante, an iconic and controversial karate master from the 1970s. But while the reporter interviewing him is excited to hear the salacious tales of his crazy life, it is clear the time is bittersweet for Brown. Okay, I don't know anything about this Count Dante. I believe it's kind of sort of based on a real person, so if anything about that interests you, now it's on your radar. The next book I want to mention to you is not a new book. It is a book that's been ongoing, and it is called Batman Incorporated. This is issue number 8 that we're talking about from DC. Here's the description. What's Batman without the Joker? Why does Batman get to have Batman all over the world when Joker only has Gotham? Well, the end of Batman's global monopoly is approaching. The Joker is here to disrupt his enterprise with the launch of Joker Incorporated. Australia gets a Joker. China gets a Joker. England gets a Joker. Australia gets a Joker. Wait, that's Austria. We already talked about Australia. Austria gets a Joker. Argentina gets a Joker. France gets a Joker. Everyone gets a Joker. All right, well, Batman's just about the coolest superhero out there, and he would not be as cool as he is if he didn't have just about the coolest bad guy out there, and that's the Joker. So it looks like we're going to be having international Jokers, and that's worthy at least of having on your radar. So if you're a Joker fan, if you're a Batman fan, if you're specking on alternate Joker potentiality, now it's on your radar. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. We're back to that. This book is Frank Miller presents Ancient Enemies, Wraith and Sun, issue number 1 from Frank Miller Presents LLC. Here's the description. Following events from Ancient Enemies, in this special one-shot, Rosemary Reed, the original Wraith, confronts her son Tucker Reed as he takes on the hero's identity and costume against his mother's wishes. Together, they must navigate through the tragedies of their past with the hope of building a better future. That is, if they don't beat each other senseless first. Written by Ancient Enemies series creator Dan DiDio, and art by Jose Luis and Jonas Trinidad Day. Okay, so this is interesting to me, basically because apparently Wraith is a character that exists in the world. I'm not familiar with this character, but there's going to be a new Wraith. So if a new Wraith does something for you, great. If the concept of this description does something for you, fantastic. But mostly what draws my attention to this is the Frank Miller of it all, which is definitely not a be-all, end-all for quality or collectability or anything like that. But I put it on your radar for that reason. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Silk, issue number 1 of a 5-issue limited series from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Silk is back. Cindy Moon returns as the web-spinning superhero Silk in an all-new all-star series. As Silk gains popularity in the public eye, Cindy is questioning her place in the world. But existentialism will have to wait when a powerful new villain is turned loose. In a race against the clock, Silk discovers the dangers of ancient Korean magic and social media. Don't miss the comics debut of stunning storyteller Emily Kim and the return of legendary comic artist Takeshi Miyazawa. Probably butchered that name, but I tried. Okay, so basically this is on your radar. Why I'm putting it on your radar is because it's Silk. Silk is part of the Spider-Man family. The Spider-Man and Spider-Verse is not to be ignored. So if you're a fan of all of that, great. This might be interesting to you. If you're a fan of Silk, great. This might be interesting to you. The fact that they teased a powerful new villain, that's has some spec potential there. So if that is doing something for you, great. You might want to check out Silk issue number 1 this week. The next book I want to mention to you is Extreme Venom Verse, issue number 1 of a 5-issue limited series from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Return to the Venom Verse. Face front, Venom Maniacs, to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the creation of Venom. The Summer of Symbiotes is underway. And it all starts with Extreme Venomverse, a landmark series that's going to take mighty Marveldom to corners of the hive never seen before in 3 titanic tales. First, comics superstars Ryan North and Paulo Sequeira put a fresh and exciting spin on a story you may be familiar with, starring Eddie Brock as Spiderman. Then, your new favorite comics writer, Mirka Andolfo, shows you a side of the whole Brock family you never thought you'd see. And finally, one of the best writer/artists in comics today, Leonardo Romero, reimagines Venom as a samurai. But whether all of your new favorite symbiotes will survive the summertime saga remains to be seen. All right, this doesn't sound very interesting to me. These Venomverse stories don't sound very, very interesting to me. But the Venom as a Samurai sounds very, very, very interesting to me. So maybe that's enough for you to drop $5 on this comic book. Maybe not. At the very least, I wanted you to have it on your radar. The next book I want to mention to you is Captain Marvel, issue number 49 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Grief will be her downfall. Captain Marvel, Spider-Woman, Hazmat, and the X-Men's mission to find Rogue and rescue Binary has technically been successful. And yet our heroes now find themselves in a worse position than ever, trapped at the mercy of a legion of Brood and a rogue Brood Empress. The Brood has now pushed Carol Danvers to her limit, not once, but twice. What it unlocked the first time helped make Carol the Captain Marvel she is today. What has it unlocked this time? And will anyone, including Carol, survive it? This is a description that's got my spidey sense tingling. I don't know any concrete reason why you should pay attention to this book. There's just something going on here that I find interesting. Her interactions with the Brood that led to her becoming binary previously are now kind of rearing their ugly head again. So how is that going to impact her this time? This is issue number 49 leading up to an issue number 50 where I'm sure they're probably going to want to do something significant as part of the anniversary issue. So I don't know. Like I said, there's nothing concrete about this for you to pay attention to, but my gut is telling me to at least keep it on my radar, so I'm putting it on yours. The next book I want to mention to you is Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 25 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. The past and the present collide in this oversized and monumental 25th issue. Your heart isn't ready for this one. I like short and sweet descriptions like this, and it's effective. It tells me everything I need to know. You need to know that this is a oversized and monumental 25th issue. I think celebrating 25th issues is a little bit needless, but so be it. It is $7, $6.99, so keep that in mind if you're interested in this. What's interesting to me, though, is the part that says, your heart isn't ready for this one. And it seems like a lot of the covers feature Mary Jane. So, and I heard a rumor that the writers of Spider-Man were going to be doing something with Mary Jane that the fans might be upset about. So that might be happening here. For all of these reasons, I had to make sure it was on your radar this week. The next book I want to mention to you is Clear, issue number 3 of a 3-issue limited series from Dark Horse Comics. Here's the description. The sci-fi mystery thrill ride continues into a strange dystopian future where a neurological internet connection wreaks havoc on reality. Writer Scott Snyder and artist Francis Manapul step out from the world of caped heroes to present a sci-fi noir tale for the ages. In this wild and twisting mystery where nothing is as it seems, discover a future where no one sees life the same way. Okay, well, that description didn't tell me anything. But what I will tell you is that I have been reading Clear. It's been fine. Scott Snyder is solid. This has been fine. Basically sticking with it because there are 3 issues total of it. This is the 3rd one. I'm picking it up and I'm buying it, so I'm just letting you know. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Ghost Lore, issue number 1 of a 12-issue limited series from Boom Studios. Here's the description. We've all heard of ghost stories, but what stories do the ghosts themselves tell us? An estranged daughter and her pastor father wander a haunted land. They only have the restless spirits, each with its own story to tell, as company along the way. After a deadly accident of which they were the only survivors, Lucas and Harmony, agate, can see the dead, an overwhelming amount of the deceased, all with their own warnings, cries for help, and malevolence alike. But Lucas and Harmony aren't the only ones with this ability. There are other nearly deads, some of which have malicious motivations. Cullen Bunn of Basilisk and the Empty Man Acclaim is joined by superstar artist Leomax and guest artist Brian Hurt, the first in a haunting lineup of artists featured in each issue, to bring readers the most eye-opening spectral story since The Sixth Sense. This 12-issue series is the newest Boom Studios collaboration with Cullen Bunn, with issue number 1 featuring a special spot UV ghost variant. So this has a lot of things going for it. It's new, it's from Cullen Bunn. That's pretty cool. Like I mentioned before, Cullen Bunn is a prolific writer and a solid writer too. But there's something about this book that isn't necessarily like putting me over the edge where I'm gonna buy it. But it is interesting to me a little bit. If it's interesting to you more than a little bit, then maybe you might consider buying it this week. The next book I want to mention to you is The Ambassadors, issue number 4 of a 6-issue limited series from Image Comics. Here's the description. Our most action-packed issue yet, moves the story to Brazil, where a Catholic priest fighting drug lords is offered a spot on this international super team. But he's happy just doing God's work in the barrios. So The Ambassadors has been way better than I thought it would have been. I'm really enjoying it. It's very entertaining. This is issue number 4. It's been coming out every other week, so it's coming out pretty quickly, which is nice, actually, for a limited series like this. And it's good. So if you've been curious about it, I would recommend checking it out. I mentioned it to you this week, issue number 4, because I'm buying it. And that leads us to the final book I am going to be talking about today. And this book is my just one book pick for the week. That book is Something Epic, issue number 1 from Image Comics. Here's the description. Imagination is real. Outside our perception, creative thought takes physical form, with only a handful of individuals known as epics able to interact with this wondrous hidden world. But for 14-year-old Danny Dillon, accepting these responsibilities himself won't be easy or safe. Lose yourself in a world of endless fantasy and creativity, where superheroes, monsters, magical creatures, and cartoon characters live and breathe alongside us. Fan favorite Spawn and Punisher artist Zizman Zudrowski introduces a world where the only limitation to your imagination, where the only limitation is your imagination, featuring 32 pages, full pages of story and art for just $3.99. Wow! Bad dismount on the reading of that description, Jeff, but I think you probably got the gist. Now, you're asking yourself, hey Jeff, why'd you pick this book this week? That's a legitimate question. Why did I pick this book this week? I am not 100% sure. Basically, I started off first by looking at the books that I am buying this week. The Ambassadors, Clear, and Nightmare Country, the Sandman Universe Nightmare Country Glass House issue number 2. And I was like, none of those feel like a pick of the week. So let's find something else. And I found all these other books to tell you about this week, and none of them really kind of jumped out as a pick of the week for me either. So I picked Something Epic because there are weeks, many weeks, where I recommend to all of you that if this is a semi-light week for you and you're in the mood to try something out, maybe you consider trying out blank. Well, when I ran this week's list through that process for myself, I was like, you know what? 3 books is a solid amount of books to buy this week, but maybe I could squeeze in one more. And which book that's coming out this week is the most interesting to me? Something that I just want to try. Something that sounds like it could be fun, could be entertaining, could be unique. And that book became Something Epic. Now, all of the homage covers that you're seeing here are a bit of a turn off for me. I just wish that they would give us maybe story beats and cool art for comic book covers, especially for an issue number 1, instead of these homages, but so be it. I didn't let that turn me off enough to not make it my pick of the week. It's a total flyer pick. It could be hot garbage. It could be the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know. I'm going to try it out this week. I'm making it my arbitrary just one book pick for this week. All right, that's it. I almost didn't make a video this week, so I hope you appreciate the fact that I took the time to do it, because I was just going to skip it this week because I'm tired and I'm behind schedule, but I'm doing it anyways for you. If you appreciate that, please hit that like button. And if you hit the dislike button, which somebody's been doing a lot recently, that's fine. Fine, hit the dislike button. Just let me know down in the comments why you hit the dislike button. Maybe you have a constructive note and something that I would willingly change to make that dislike go to a like. So let me know down in the comments if you dislike something. In addition, if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do that. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.